Another question. Mook just said in a recent interview, man, that he open to battling you. Said he'll smoke you. How you feel about that?
I mean, Mook is the toughest challenge. He's one of the toughest, if not the toughest challenge in battle rap. You know what I'm saying? But he got to talk his shit. I got to come get my Harlem ball back. Yeah. If he got to be the nigga, I'm finna get the ball back from. Cause Snake Eyes just got my King of Harlem ball.
Yeah,
I'm mad. I'm mad. You know.
I don't know why Danny wants this King of Harlem thing so bad. As a West Coaster, shout out to Danny.
You know what I'm saying, and like I said, Mook is that guy. That's my guy. You know, we rock with each other, man. But it's competition. You know what I'm saying? It's competition. So you know, especially coming after a loss, it's like, oh man, you had a bad performance, man. You gotta really go back crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
does today's performance affect you getting like Mook and Lux? You think? Another question. Mook just said.
Okay. All right. Interesting topic. So I see it going around the internet kind of strong. Shout out to Danny. Shout out to my guy, Danny, the bar god. Did Danny Myers drop the ball with this Snake Eyes clear loss? And admitting on camera, I believe that he lost the battle while en route to a Murda Mook showdown. A lot of people believe that Danny Myers deserves the Loaded Luxes and the Murda Mooks of the world. I'm one of them. And we see Murda Mook doing interviews and he's saying things like, yeah, I would battle Danny. That would be something. And, you know, it seems like it's building up a little bit. I mean, having the two battlers on the same page about a matchup is part of the war. You still need a league to pick it up. I had a different take that was, you know, a little annoyed when I saw Mook's reaction saying a league would have to put it together. I'm tired of hearing big name battle rappers that's been in the game for 20 plus years talking about a league when niggas, we see where the game is at. Niggas need to just go do things on their own sometimes when the leagues are not moving, you know, but that's a different story. That's a different take. But you know, there's room there for it to happen, obviously. And then the negotiations, if it could work out, you know, maybe a league can get it done. But, with this loss right here, I think, I don't want to misquote, I think Mook has said something to the degree of nah, it's off now. And Mook's timeline for the rest of the year probably doesn't align with him saying, oh no, we still on right now. You know, we'll figure it out. Just, you know, it's got to be good time and hopefully Danny get his momentum together because Mook already has engagements happening right now. He already has a battle locked in that's coming. And it's not like Mook battles, you know, every 3 months. So it's very, very possible that we can't talk about this battle regardless until first or second quarter 2027. So that's still an answer from Mook that aligns timeline wise. But did Danny or does a battle like this, or does a battler like Danny, that matters. Should he lose the battle as far as current discussions or even near future discussions when you lose to a Snake Eyes who is a great battle rapper, who's a formidable battle rapper? Meanwhile, you have one of the GOATs matchup having conversation in the entire culture, right? What happens then? Do you drop the ball? Is it over? Did you mess it up? I see people with those opinions, can't be mad at them. I see people saying, all right, well, you got to heat back up again. I want to talk about battlers coming off of a loss and when the matchup still carries. I want to talk about the business side of things. And then I want to talk about the frequency of certain battlers taking matchups, which would include Danny, and how that can impact certain things, right? Well, not just how it impacts things, more so the reality of that booking style, okay? So let's go to the first one. This matchup, Murda Mook versus Danny Myers, absolutely can be salvaged in the very near future if their timelines were still open for each other and the fans were still willing to say like, nah, this is still a great matchup. I'm pretty sure they would, despite Danny's recent loss to Snake Eyes, right? Could it be salvaged? Promotions are hurt a little bit, but I'll save that for the business conversation. Let's just talk about Danny as a battle rapper. One of the biggest examples of a battle or a big matchup being salvaged is Averb and Murda Mook. It might be the biggest ever example of salvaging something. Everybody knows the story. You know, before the Mook battle, he was already contracted with Pat Stay, and it was a judge card on RBE.
With this war shit, in the ring, I'm like Foreman. And all you rap niggas, my sons, a bunch of Foremans. If we was locked up, I'd take your fruit cup and come eat your shit. Told my dog, hand me a piece, not a portion. 4-4, hold it over your head like extortion. You nice, but I cracked the code. The movie Swordfish. These rappers get on war shit. You rappers get on war shit till I'm in the room and the temperature change on some storm shit.
Verb with his eyes closed right there. You could hear from his delivery, some of the choppy nature of it. This is his third round where, you know, rappers, if they're not super locked in, they get the weakest. So they're on the thin ice the most. Their first rounds be real strong. But by the time he gets to the third round, you could tell he's losing his material a little bit. You know, he's not prepared on 1000%.
My crown, the devil's horns rip. Pull a strap on me, I break the hand you left the arm with. You in the presence of a witty nigga who with it, wigger. I'ma put a scratch on your record like wigger. I used to want my parents to love me and say yeah to my verses. They hate me because I stand on this surface. I used to try to be perfect. Then it hit me. Fitting in just ain't working. Because you niggas clowns. And you never see a wolf in the circus. It'll never be another cold rapper with this control factor. When God made me, nigga, the mold crackle.
You see the stuttering, etc.
My mind soul crafted for soul snatching. And tell that bitch ass Murda Mook, I flip on your ass like an old mattress.
He didn't even get his name right on the first time. He said Mook. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not fully prepared there. But what's his next battle? Right? This is when you have the matchup that you've been waiting for. This is when you have the full dedication and you're fully zoned in to these 3 rounds of what you got coming up. This is when you have something that truly mattered. The Pat Stay battle for Verb, it didn't matter to him even half as much as battling Murda Mook meant to him. And we see the difference in his performance, in his bars, in his delivery, in his everything that he brought to the stage. He brought a classic performance to the stage. And you get a totally different Verb.
When I rap, I get comments moving. When you rap, niggas get bored. How Dennis Rodman do it. I can turn them up or do it Kama Sutra. How you want it. Either way, you fuck these rounds tonight like Karma Sutra. No fucking around before these fight, like how the boxers do it. Y'all zab Judah, watch how Acosta zoom him. Bring the cocky out him, get his posture ruined. Y'all like Pacquiao, take punches, how can I not go through him? Give a nigga a shot, he'll put a hot one through you. Fuck you, I ain't starstruck pussy, let these new niggas pay homage to you. It's time to eat. I'ma go noodles like a college student. Yo, street, I'ma end that. Stop playing with God. Stop playing with God, boy. Stop playing.
There's a difference. Okay. Another big example I'll give to y'all before I get on to the other 2 pieces of this is Math Hoffa. Okay, Math Hoffa, and shout out once again to Rap Verdict. Somewhere around, what time frame was this? August 11, 2018, he battled Av. Do y'all remember the feedback from battling Av? All right, here on the site, you see they got the verdict. Av 3-0 is what they came up with. They said the fan consensus points to a landslide victory for Av. The comments overwhelmingly cite Math Hoffa choking, stumbling, and forgetting his lines in every round, starting with his own slogan in the first. Now, there was stuff going on around the event and things that I know threw Math off, etc. But the point is, he wasn't locked in. This was a summer madness. Something that you think everybody brings their A+ game to, no matter what. They are locked in. Math got 30, had a horrible performance, choking, stumbling, etc. But a battle, and Math is a guy, like, he doesn't like to battle down too much. You guys know what I mean by battle down. People that he believes are lower than his stature. He's never been huge on that. Like, he's got some good performances versus up and comers or mid tiers, etc. But at that time, he's looking at Av like, I don't even want the URLs or the RBEs of the world to give me these type of matchups. Bring me Mook and bring me. And he earned that. He deserved that. He's one of the top tier guys. So he never was too good at battling down Math. So in Summer Madness, surrounding factors, not fully locked in. That's what happened. But then when we get to a couple months later, a battle that he cares about, a battle that he wants, a battle that he has personal stock in. When you talk about Math Hoffa prepped on 10, you get one of arguably his best performance ever.
Gotta apologize. Why? That make it fucking cool.
A couple months later,
like a month or two. Said he called and I was ducking you. You right, cause you a bird ass nigga. I sort of ducking you. Donald or Daffy, either one to do. Cause he complied with Diz needs and didn't warn a brother. So now it's fuck you too. Fucking dude.
Extremely long rounds, angles, punches, schemes. This was such a classic performance by Math Hoffa. Just the way he constructed this, regardless of his backstory with Hollow. Shout out to Hollow. It's more about, at an artistry level, how Math put these rounds together and why this performance was so epic for him. This is the difference. This is the difference between Danny Myers battling, respectfully, shout out to Snake Eyes versus Murda Mook, another god tier, another Mount Rushmore candidate, a battle that he really wants. It's different, okay? Now we got two more. Let's go to the second one. The business. Is the business impacted? Yes. Got to stand on that. No different than how we had a certain type of energy for like Easy and Slade on camera together. Just like the cell nature of it takes some type of hit, Oh, by the way, John Award, I think I saw that announcement. Do not get on camera together. Y'all two guys, if you do a face off with a table between y'all, keep the animosity there. Don't get on camera and stand next to each other. Uncle Ra, stay away from those two guys. It's not Uncle Ra's fault, though. Oh, my God. We got a real grudge match vibe again. But somebody like Murda Mook, right? He tries to go after business deals that are impacted by the saleability of the card or of the matchup. So the saleability would win. Like people still would pay to see Murda Mook versus Danny Myers. But smart business doesn't take the $8 if I know, the $20 is available if I can wait a little bit, or if I can market this a little bit longer or a little bit better en route to making more or bringing more out of it, maximizing it. That's one thing that hurt the battle right there. So business-wise, promotion-wise, if you announce that battle right now, more stars need to line up now, meaning that it has to be the right league. It has to be a strong rollout. You got to have the face-off. You have to put the narratives to it the same way RBE and Mook got behind the scenes and discuss, okay, we're about to roll out you and Verb. What narratives are we going to push out to the public? Oh, we got one. That why did we choose Aver to battle Mook on his return? Let's use the narrative of, hell, Aver beat the people that the fans are calling for Mook to battle, i.e. like a Surf. Aver killed Surf out in Chicago. You see what I'm saying? Those are narratives we put together, and I broke that down in previous videos of how Mook broke that fourth wall in the Averb and Mook face-off when Mook got frustrated. So the rollout, the face-off, the promotion, it has to be the right league. If it was to happen like right now, which it won't, but if it was to happen right now, these things need to bring back the promo that was lost from the narratives going around right now, the bloggers that's talking about it right now, the fan reaction of it right now. That's something that RBE did with Verb when we announced Verb and Mook right after Verb's judge lost to Pat Stay. And this is also back in the time when people are looking at Verb like he still pay Verb a little bit, his run of losses, and Verb is really check collecting. It took him to battle Mook and then Lux to then get that next jump as far as how fans could look at him. If he never battled Mook and Lux, he would have always had one of the best resumes. But I don't know how they would have treated Verb, because of a majority of his career, the subpar performances, the choking, the pay verb stuff. It just was what it was. So that would have to be at play. It still might need to be a play, even if it's brought back up 6 months from now. You got to roll it out a certain way. You got to have the narratives and the promotion behind it. You can't just announce it and say, oh, the reason why this was going to sell the first time around simply is because that's Murda Mook, that's Danny Myers. They both all-time greats. It's a dope matchup. They both want to do it. That's enough to sell it. Nah, you kind of need a little bit of story element, the promotional element now to bring it back to the roof. Okay. I've done it before. I'm not just talking out my ass. You guys have seen this in our history. It's part of the game. It's part of being in front of a consuming fan base. Okay. Last but not least, this is the thing with Danny. It's never a counting pockets thing. When I make this point right here, y'all pay attention. You have like some of your god tiers. They garner these heavy checks and they battle extremely infrequent. A Murda Mook, a Cassidy, a Loaded Lux, a Hitman Holla, now for sure a Sue Surf. These are guys that when they come outside, the whole culture that doesn't even know battle rap business is going to assume at least $50,000. Some of y'all are going to hear, oh, one of these guys or some of these guys may not ever battle for less than $100,000. Or we heard when Cass battled this, it was $250,000. And we heard this about Lux before. And we heard this about Mook, deals that ARP gave him. And we heard Hitman, he's up there rapping on Calico stage talking about I made $1 million. Okay, And so those guys, that's how they move from a monetary standpoint. All right. Then you got like, let's say, there's a tier underneath that. And I'm not talking about like top tier, mid tier, up and coming. I'm trying to do this financial frequency thing. There's a tier under that of guys that the type of money that if battle rap is their primary source of income, the tier under that is the guys that are making like, let's say they're between 10s and 40s, depending on the scenario. Probably more frequently in the 10 range, but every once in a while, something could come along, a big sponsor, something, and maybe you can land yourself a 30 piece or a 40 piece or whatever. I think an example of that would be like an Easy. Like an Easy, like Easy's not gonna negotiate for $3,000. He's not gonna negotiate for $5,000. Would he battle under certain circumstances for $10,000? Sure. Is he going to be looking to garner 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 from his matches? Sure. And if he can get, even let's use the number of 15. If he can get 15 4 times in a year, that's a little core salary to constitute maybe some other stuff, your YouTube and things going on. And, you make yourself a couple dollars that year and you can take care of yourself. It's nothing to shit on. If you look up the average American household income, landing in anywhere from 50 to 80 a year, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. People get by like that just fine. Can't shit on that. Let's be humble. But you also have a tier under that, right? And that's, in my opinion, without knowing niggas' pockets, that's where I see not what they're worth. I don't want this to be taken the wrong way and somebody get offended. That's where you see like a New Jersey Twerk. That's where you see sometimes, I believe in the Cody year, for example, a Tay-Rock. That's where you see a Danny Myers. These are GOATs. These are legends. These are Hall of Famers. These are all-time greats. But if Danny Myers is battling once every other week, if Tay-Rock is battling the pace that he did on the Cody, and or New Jersey Twerk, he get booked on all types of cards versus all different types of opponents. I do know some of the stuff that came out, like shout out to Wing, like his bread booking, for bread, BRED, that Wings brand. It's like these guys, their approach isn't like those top guys that we spoke about, like one big matchup per year and, just go up to 50 and better. These guys instead approach the game where, it's kill you by 1,000 paper cuts type of shit. You know, I'm gonna pick up my threes, my fours, my fives. Sometimes it might be the 10s and whatever as well mixed in there, but I'm taking a lot of these smaller battles, these smaller bags, these smaller opportunities. And whether we admit it or not, this is the harsh reality of this shit. Let's be real about this. And the battlers know this. They got to speak to it if they are willing to. You know, let's focus back on Danny Myers. Only Danny Myers knows how much he needs all those other battles financially. Only Danny Myers knows if he can stop battle rapping, for example, for 7 months and just wait to try to, you know, work this out with Mook. We're going to battle in June 2027. Only he knows what effect that could have on his livelihood, his month to month, himself, his family. You know, like, all right, so I got all these league owners that reach out to me at least once or twice a month. That's my rent. That's my that's this bill. That's this taken care of. These guys that battle that frequently and take those smaller type of bags, and that's how they do their careers. If they stop those battles and people say, yo, stop battling so frequent, but nobody ever asked the question is financially, can they? Without having some big pre-booking bag to sit down with? Somebody saying, all right, we're gonna do 6 months from now, we're gonna do you and Mook, and we're gonna pay you $40,000. So here's a $20,000 deposit, so you could sit down. I don't want to say their names. I've had battlers that when we were doing big battles, matter of fact, I'll say it because it's not nothing that makes them look bad at all. Like Math, for example. You know, we've had battles where I've wanted him to sit down between matchups, and the deposit became a discussion point. Like, you want me to sit down? Like, then I'm chilling out on other things, you know? So, you know, it's got to make sense for me too. You know, like, I understand that side of it. I'm not here to make sure motherfuckers month to month is a certain way, but I understand a negotiation that comes my way in that respect. So it's a real thing. So people saying, yo, Danny, you battle too much, and then you're going to put yourself out there in scenarios where you're going to choke, and maybe you're taking matchups that you don't have to take when you got Murda Mook. But it's Danny's style of career. So Danny still needs to be asked the question, can you sit down for a long time? Not just on some old battle urge shit, but from a livelihood standpoint. No, I don't know that. Only Danny knows that. So if he can't, the Danny Myers of the world that are goats and battle very, very frequently and take those smaller matches, smaller bags, smaller leagues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If they can't sit down, then it's on them to stay A game for every time out en route to whatever your goals are. Like, let's say a Murda Mook, right? But of course, the fans just think it's that simple. Snap your fingers and say, don't battle for the next 5 months. Maybe these people have to battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still got to earn a living. All right. So think about that piece of it. We'll be back.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
One of the toughest characters ever to bulldog his way
Welcome to the house of
Red breed.
and shout out to them.
Without my heat, still got a gun.